democratic country in the world, the first world nation, just had its election rigged in front of our eyes.
Okay, that's what your opinion. Why do you say they are rigged? I want to be convinced. I don't think they are rigged. I want you to tell me your arguments.
I'll tell you why the election was rigged.
Yes, please.
All right. So no one likes Donald Trump, right? So Hillary Clinton was supposed to win. Hillary Clinton didn't win. And everyone was shocked. You can watch, in fact, I'll send this to you. I'll send you links. The Indian guy, I can't remember his name, leader of he's the head of Google, and a bunch of other people, Jack Dorsey, who's head of Twitter, all these social media companies, the ones we're talking about, their leaders are on camera saying, we can't believe we let this happen. We think this is our fault because we let Donald Trump share his information on social media. We have a bigger responsibility to people to prevent this kind of news getting out there, and start talking about censoring after Trump wins the first election. They start talking about how it's our fault that we let this evil man into power because we let people think for themselves, and it was supposed to be Hillary. Even though Hillary's caused more wars and killed more people than anyone ever. She destroyed Libya.
I like Trump, but
so
I don't see how he changed the world into the good. I like Trump.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if I like Trump. I don't think you should rig elections. Trump. You shouldn't rig elections. You should let people decide who leads them.
How do you know they are rigged?
Okay, so we're going to get there. So the social media companies already admitted they had influence, right? So Hillary was supposed to win. Hillary didn't win. So then the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party are closely linked with all the people who run the world. So they watched Hillary Clinton, a lifelong politician, and the woman, the first woman candidate and the wife of Bill Clinton, they watched her lose to Trump. So then they get Joe Biden, who's senile, who's suffering from Parkinson's, who can't talk.
Time friend, and she's a friend. She's been my friend in and out of public life. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. Tomorrow's superstar.
And they run him against Trump. And they know he's going to get landslided, right? He doesn't stand a chance against Trump. Trump's smooth, right? Yeah. So the Democratic Party, who just had a literal meltdown, YouTube, Google, the most powerful people in the world had a meltdown, genuinely crying, tears, worrying that Trump's now president and our life is over.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States. President Obama is the ex-president. And Mr. Trump, for the moment, steps away for the inaugural address.
What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever.
Then they get a senile old man to run him against Trump. And it didn't cross their mind for half a second to rig it. They didn't think, he's going to lose this. He needs a bit of an advantage. Of course they did. So how did they do it? Here's how they rigged the election. They used Corona as an excuse, saying that you can't vote in person. You can if you want to take the huge risk. But if you want to vote by mail, you can vote by mail. Don't worry. We're going to send mail ballots out and everyone can vote by mail. Then, as the election results are being counted, and let me just stipulate this, never in the history of an election in America has the results taken more than 24 hours to count. Never in history. Here we are 7 days later, they're not finished. So that's the first fucking thing that doesn't make sense.
Why?
In fact, here's why. Because Trump is winning in a landslide, of course. Joe Biden, he can't put a sentence together. The dude has been vice president for 47 years and did nothing for anybody. Who the fuck likes Joe Biden? Nobody, right? So Trump's winning a landslide. They stop counting overnight for random reasons. I was watching the election in real time. Me and Tristan argued about this. Tristan goes, Trump's going to kill it. I said, no, they're going to rig it. And even my brother goes, you can't rig the U.S. election. I said, watch this. We're watching it. For the first time in history, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in history, never done before, they stop counting. A water pipe has burst in Georgia. A court ruling in Nevada says that because of the way the polls were done, we need 24 hours for the bunch of garbage legislation.
Why?
I'm telling you why. Burst pipes, bullshit. And then overnight, they open up all the mail-in ballots, and Joe Biden's ahead now. What's funny is they opened up the mail-in ballots, and in some states it's like 300,000 he was losing by, and they're all 100% for Joe Biden. 300,000 votes, not one for Trump, not one for the independent candidates, every single one for Joe Biden.
But we need to check the source.
Okay, I'll show you the graph.
Yes.
I've shown you a graph which shows, because they're stupid enough that the graph actually shows the votes, right? And you can see that at 4 a.m. on a random Wednesday, Biden goes zoop, straight up. This is fucking rigging. This is election rigging. If you had to flip a coin and get heads 300,000 times in a row, what's the odds of that happening? Considering that every other state, it was 58%, 56%, 57%. 100% of every single mail-in vote was for Joe Biden. This is obviously rigged. You can see it on the graph. This is a rigging. And then, we're just getting started, my friend. So then Trump goes, this is rigging.
This is the state of Wisconsin, right?
Correct. Trump's winning, and bang, this happens at 4 a.m. overnight. Boom, straight up. How is that not a rig? Then, when Trump sees this, you know what he does? He sends Republican, he says,
Michigan, the same thing.
Same thing.
How is this possible? I don't know. I'm not saying he's right, okay? I just want to know how this is possible.
It's possible because the Democrats are rigging the election using mail-in voting, and they're using mail-in voting because they're scaring people with corona. It's all about control. When you control people, you can rig things. The communist dictator Stalin said, it doesn't matter who votes. It matters who counts the votes.
Yeah.
And he's completely right. You control everyone and you count the votes and, I won, doo-doo-doo. So they rigged this whole thing, right? So when Trump saw this, he sent Republican inspectors to the polling stations. And they were locked out, which is against federal law.
Really?
It's against federal law. You can look this up. He sent the thing and they were locked out and the Democrats counting, because this happened in Democratic states, right? They covered the windows with paper. This is all on video.
What I noticed when I was brought in to be a poll watcher, I was never brought in, actually. I never got past the first identification stage. They kept saying that mine, as well as 5 or 6 other Republicans, their names hadn't been entered into the system. And after the first time it happened, the second time it happened, I had no second thoughts about it being a problem, more that somebody failed to finger us into the computer system. But after a while, what I witnessed, and I said to Mr. Giuliani before, in a morbid curiosity staring at, I felt insidious fraud going on. I felt that we were kept away from doing our civil duty. That was everybody on both parties should be upset about. This is horrible. We're being restricted. We're being restrained. And I see this nothing as the insidious nature of the Philadelphia and Pennsylvania governments who are keeping us away from doing what we were meant to do.
And Trump's like, well, we're going to take you to court and recount. This is all bullshit. 15,000 dead people voted in this election. This is common knowledge. I will send you the link now. What people have been doing is going on death registers, getting people's social security numbers, and then putting it into the mail-in ballot system to see if your vote was counted. 15,000 dead people have voted for Joe Biden in this election. Dead people. People who were born in 1890. It's all a rig. The whole thing is fixed to make sure Joe Biden wins via mail-in ballots. And mail-in ballots comes from coronavirus. It's all fake. They want it rigged because they want Joe Biden there because he'll sign anything put in front of him because he's corrupt as fuck and he's senile. Sign this. Lock people up. 7 p.m. be home. Put your mask on. Mask mandate. Close the businesses. Lock this.